It's the main event. I'm your humble host with way too loud of a kickback here to start this Tuesday show. Last show of 2025. And of course, I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. Dale Hellestrae's here, everybody.
Good morning, Stephen. How are you? I'm just looking at the weather forecast for El Paso, Texas.
49% chance of rain tomorrow.
Goodness gracious. I can't think of one place
that'd be miserable.
I'd rather be than sitting in the Sun Bowl.
Well, I got a ticket for you. I talked to Brooke. You guys are catching a Southwest flight in the morning. You're coming over and visiting us.
So we're not invited to White Sands?
You can come to that, too. It's afterwards. It's on the 1st. Weather permitting. Sand doesn't roll very well when it's wet. The rain, though, it did say the rain was going to come in late afternoon.
What time's the game?
Noon.
Okay.
Noon our time. So we might escape it. But you know what that means? A storm's coming in, which means wind's going to be there.
That means when you're walking out to your car, because there's very little parking there, you can be parked up the hill.
I know. It's going to be ridiculous.
You might want to have them let you off by the gate.
I'm going to be limping. I might have a wheelchair, Dale. You never know. I milked this a little bit, get parked close. I remember last time I had the scooter, and it was a struggle to get the close parking with that stuff.
Yeah,
I had to go park in this lot far away and get in a van that brought me down to the thing.
Okay.
But all the parking next to the stadium, they're like, nope, gotta have a parking pass.
You gotta be special.
Yeah, and I'm like, I am special. I have a leg in a cast right now.
Don't you know who I am?
Yeah. So I survived jail yesterday. Uncle Lou's coming up in just a second here, guys. But I survived jail yesterday, or court yesterday. No jail for me. So I made it in today, Dale.
You weren't held in contempt?
I know. Prosecutor didn't even show up.
Ooh.
Yeah. So just another go back in January.
So do you get to charge him or
No, they don't care. They just waste your time. It's the justice system. They just don't care. We'll just waste everybody's time.
The judge was there, prosecutor wasn't.
Yeah. And this is about, just so everybody's clear, I want people to be like, oh my God, it's a rental issue of a tenant that did some stuff, and the city of Mesa got involved with it, and then they didn't do everything proper, and then I get dragged into it because of the homeowner.
So why don't you just say, did your lawyer not ask for just to waive everything?
Yeah, we submitted all the paperwork. We submitted all the paperwork. We've submitted all the paperwork. That's under an LLC, so they technically aren't supposed to come after me. I'm not supposed to be involved in this. We submitted all that stuff, and the prosecutor have yet to answer. They responded to an email yesterday, and they said, well, yeah, we didn't serve him. Oh, well. And that's all they said. And then we show up, and they're like, oh, we'll just have to continue it, January 26th. Apparently, they're on vacation. Not good enough for me to be on vacation this week.
You had to stay here another day.
We would be on vacation right now.
You'd be in White Sands, New Mexico.
We would have done our trip the other way instead of the other way. So I survived that yesterday, but it's still rearing its ugly head coming up in January. Unless they look at it and they come to their senses and dismiss everything, at least on my side. They can go after the tenant all they want. I don't. Yeah, that's his problem.
There's still a chance.
Get me out of it. Still a chance. I'm not home free, everybody, yet on that and everything. But last show of the year here today, and we're packed as usual here on this Tuesday. Uncle Lou's coming up here in just a second. Then we got coming up Bruce Cooper coming in as well. We got bowl games to talk about. Arizona, of course, this weekend. ASU. Duke looks like they're playing most of their starters. ASU is not. Well, I'm sorry. What we got a blue update. What'd you say? He's out of the. I thought you said out of the shower. I was like, dang, really?
Yeah.
That might be an interesting show. Well, let's bring him on. If he's not in the screen right there, let's go ahead and bring him on and do it. Uncle Lou's joining us. Is he there? Is he out of the shot? Is he out of the shower?
Is he in the shower or out of the
shower? Lou's gonna be mad we just did this to him. He was like, they're bloviating too much. I'm going to leave.
He is out of the shower.
Oh, my God. He's all dressed up, too. Look at him. Last show of 2025, and he's got a button-down shirt on. Lou, what are you doing?
Well, I'm. First of all, I want to say hello, gentlemen. I hope everyone had a great holiday. We have another one coming, but it's searching for equal time.
Oh, that's what he went to get.
Oh, there
Yeah,
you
there you
go.
go. Yeah,
Let me just say that the teams that did decent play in the next day or so, but the teams that did really well play another week or so, and that's those U of A Wildcats going to face a team near and dear to one of our hearts, the SMU Mustangs in a barn burner.
It's going to be a good game, Lou. I'm looking forward to it. Been getting a lot of pub. You can't watch Fox without looking at the Holiday Bowl coming up on January 2nd, so I'm looking forward to it.
Usually the Holiday Bowl rains points.
Yes.
Is that how this one should be, do you think?
Well, I you see in Arizona, they can score. I think SMU can score. Now it depends, and if you watched any of these bowl games, who's playing, who's opting out, who's transferring.
Well, I just said it. I mean, Duke reportedly is playing most of their starters on the Sun Bowl tomorrow.
Okay.
And ASU's has 20-something kids out.
Yeah.
Because of draft or transfer portal and stuff like that. So who's going to win this game? You have no idea coming into it.
I don't know how you bet it, and I don't know how you handicap it. That's what I tell my college football buddies, and they pull out their hair, and most of them, after one season of this, have hairlines like me.
Yeah, I know, right? So Lou was smart not getting on that college football bandwagon and chose Now, NFL's getting a little crazy, too, after last night, of course. We'll focus heavy on NFL today as the UFC's off until almost end of January here coming up. So, first of all, are you going through UFC relapses is my big question.
What?
Are you going through some relapses? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm being funny. No, I love this time off. This morning before I come on, I cleaned up my database. That's actually been about a week-long process, but I prepared it with, 48 blank sheets for the upcoming season. So I'm all ready to go. And then probably starting this week here, I'll put some names down and get the first card ready. Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. It's a Paramount card. There's all kinds of moving parts, but this is a great battery recharge so that I don't have to think about fighting for a few weeks, which is great because it is year round.
Yeah.
But it also allows me focus in on the NFL. And with week 18 coming up, I'm shooting at 4 or 5 games, guys. The other ones, I mean, if you can tell me who's motivated to play between, Washington and Philly.
Yeah.
Then you got to step up on me. There's
that's what I was telling Dale before the show. Dale's like, Dale's like talking, and I go, I don't even know how many games he's going to want to talk about, considering the Rams lost last night, and it changed a lot of the perspectives of the games this weekend. We actually lose some excitement this weekend because of the Rams losing.
Before
last
we get into football, I just want to ask you, Lou, is this something that happens every year in the UFC? Do they take this long of a break every year?
This is the longest one, and I think it has to do with segueing from ESPN to Paramount.
Okay.
Normally it's 3 or 4 weeks, but years ago, they would have Christmas and even New Year's cards. I'm glad because I think of the UFC employees, even Dana, the travel they do and where they're going 12 months out of the year to have 4 or 5 weeks off in a string. You almost have to have it, I think.
That brings up one more question. Does Dana, like those fights that are in Saudi Arabia or overseas, does Dana go to those too?
I would say that the numbered events and the overseas events for sure, because they expect the figurehead to be there.
He negotiates
maybe
and stuff,
a few of the Apex cards or maybe a card in Omaha or Nashville that he may choose not to attend, but he goes to a good amount of them.
Okay.
I know, like Saudi Arabia, he always goes to, but that's because the Crown Prince wants to see him negotiate negotiate a bigger deal and stuff like that. Hey, before we do your intro, let's just wrap up UFC here. Aspinall, right? Got poked in the eye in that fight. Almost 2 months ago now, roughly? A month ago, 2 months ago? Crowd booed him, he kind of bowed out of that fight. And now it's being reported 2 eye surgeries or multiple eye surgeries he's going to need coming up here. And he's kind of been upset about this since then. Does that change your opinion on Aspinall at all? Now that the surgery's coming, or is it still kind of the same thoughts of when after that fight happened and the eye poke?
Easy for you to say.
I know.
Hey, Aspinall's a true champ. He didn't continue in that fight
Yeah.
because he was gouged in both eyes, and the one that looked the worst was the least. It's the one that looked the least harmful that was the one that's done the most damage, and now it's resulting in eye surgery. Listen, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The gym in France, in Paris, that houses both Imavov and Gan, and that's Ferdinand Lopez. I'm not saying they are teaching their fighters to cheat. What I will say is that they're teaching their fighters to gain advantage. And if I could go out in a fight against a guy that I'm evenly competing against, and I could kick him in the jewels, and all they would do is say, no more doing that. You can't do that anymore. Then advantage me, because I'm going to kick him in the jewels, baby.
Right.
And that's what this gym does. Imavov, in every one of his fights in the first round, pokes guys in the eye. And now we watched Gan do it, and Gan's no stranger to doing it. It's tactful, they're taught it, and it has to get out of the game. You hear people ranting and raving about it. Yet the UFC, all they've come out is we've heard Herb Dean say, well, we're thinking about, being a little bit less patient with that kind of a deal. And in one of the fights, we saw him take a point away from a guy. So good. To me, I make the reaction drastic, and then I stop the issue on the dime, just like weight missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting on the deal because he's been protesting since that happened on how he was treated unfairly, how bad this is for him, and now the eye surgery is just kind of like an eye opener.
Well,
all right, maybe obviously I'm assuming he's not faking it now, but I think there was some sentiment that he kind of bowed out of that fight a little bit early, like you said, and like you said, the one eye that was bad isn't the bad eye, and things like that. So I don't know if this comes around. What'd you say?
Uninformed sentiment.
Yes.
People that watch the fight, oh, he's ducking out, he's losing, he's ducking out. That is, you just ask any real fighter and they'll laugh you out of the room. And so I'm not gonna have to do it. It has to be changed. I think the next Aspinall Gan fight, hopefully it's soon, should be great. The one good bit of news for Gamblu.com UFC investors was a 5.3 unit win for us that Aspinall was still champ or is still champ January 1. We got 3 days before I can count.
I was gonna say you got 2 days.
That said, I will say in the UFC this year, I have my numbers here somewhere. I was about a 15 unit loser over the course of the whole year. That doesn't happen very often, guys, and that's also part of the reason why I'm taking Gamblu public. In the About Business podcast will be available to all through my website and your local podcast carrier. And we're going to put myself on the spot, and we're going to have a great year this year, being totally transparent. Everybody can see the releases. There's the Gamblu webpage up that Kobe's been so gracious to show, and the top band really shows you everything you need to know about me if you're so inclined. The sports I work, what I do, what people say about me, at least my friends. I put testimonials in there that were mostly positive, I will say, but mostly what we try and highlight during this segment that Steve's so gracious to give me is the San Xavier mission in Tucson. It's the oldest mission in the United States. I have a page dedicated to the mission because we're regular contributors, as we will continue to be. You don't have to go through me to contribute. You can check out the information on the page, and there's a direct link on the lower side of the page that you can access the mission directly if you're so inclined. Steve and Dale are always so gracious to allow me to highlight that. It's really a gem of Arizona, and I'm really fortunate to be able to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's, like I said, it's you kind of lead the charge on that, at least when I listen to these other gambling sites and stuff to that, no, everybody else is just, give me the money and let me do it, and brings the money to me, or you win, and you break that out there. So I like that a lot about you, Lou. So hey,
Thank you.
last quick thing before we do, you just did your intro there. You're going public, like you said. When are you going to start? Obviously, first UFC fight. You'll start having the Bout Business, the Sneak Teep podcast free on your site, and all your releases on there as well. When's that approximately going to be starting?
Yeah, well, that first fight is like the 24th or 23rd.
something
So
like
it's
that.
the Monday, the 19th, the sneak teep will be out.
Yep.
Bout Business always will be available on a Friday. And so that'll be accessible wherever you get your pods, or just go to gamblu.com. Looking forward to all of that. And so we still a few more weeks. Now, here's the other thing. It's important to follow me on Twitter, because if I see a fight tomorrow that I really like the price on, normally I would send an email to members of the Bout Business podcast so they would get notified early. That will now be transported publicly via Twitter. So to follow me on Twitter, if you're a fight enthusiast, would not be a bad idea, because when I release something, if I release something in a few days, it'll go on Twitter public, and I'll have it dated and stamped and everything, so that there's no getting around it. And following me on Twitter may not be a bad idea. Good thing you're doing it this year and not last.
Two things. Are you going to talk more towards the layman on Twitter, or do I have to go to a translator to figure out exactly what you're saying again this year?
Well, if I'm doing a release, there'll be a guy's name in red with a price. And so you don't have to read all the gibberish if you don't want. But yeah, I speak in sometimes cryptic code, and you got to be a little bit of a linguist to get me.
And secondly, Christmas, did you get moved into the new house? Was dinner at the new house? Was it at the old house?
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
is that
you can see I'm in the new house now. We're out of, it's still all white, and I don't have any of my pictures up yet, but that's coming. I got the little things that you put in the drywall. I got stuff to do, but yes, we were able to on the 23rd last week. I think it was the 23rd when we were on with you, and I was hoping to get the C of O.
Yep.
We got the C of O. We started moving in. We were able to, even though I had to make the family codfish bacalhau on Christmas Eve out there, we ate it here, and it was great. And then had a big cauldron of the sugu, the pasta, the traditional pasta sauce here for Christmas Day, and everyone was here. It's man, I'm just so happy to be back. We're going through the punch list now. We got a few things that need to be addressed, but we're home. We're back in Central Phoenix, and I feel really good about it.
Good.
no more far West Valley for you, right? Central Phoenix, but North Central Phoenix is kind of where you're at.
Yeah, I mean,
so.
I really don't go past 7th Ave unless I'm going to the MMA lab on 19th, on about 23rd Ave in Bell.
You're like Dale. Yeah, you're like Dale. I don't go that far.
Bittersweet, though, now my wife travels from Central to go out to her place of work. So she has the commute now, unfortunately. The good news is she leaves early in the morning going against traffic, and then coming back she's against. So that helps a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So the house smelled all fresh and new, and then you cooked all that stuff and got it all into the walls and started that process. I like it. You posted the picture a couple hours after the show, and I don't remember who it was, but a couple listeners, were like, "Oh man, right off air to cooking. That's amazing." So,
hey, that's all I got, guys. I handicap games and I can cook. After that, I'm worthless, and my wife carries all the talent.
And then
that's the truth.
We would be remiss. You were talking about your Twitter page at Gamblu. For those of you that want to follow him on X as well, get on there and do that. And then your blog is up this week as well, talking about this week coming up, Week 18. And let's get into the NFL talk, Lou, here as well. Here, obviously when we come back here, we'll know the playoff setup. We'll know the first teams next week when we get you on your regular time on Thursday next week. Back to normal here after the holidays. But, we'll have some answers, but there's some things coming up here as well. You put out, and my question on this is, you put out on your blog a 3-team 10-point teaser on, obtained on DraftKings, minus 120 is what you say. When did you do this blog? Was it before last night's game, or was it after last night's game? The reason why I'm asking is you have Bucks 7.5, Vikings 3.5, and Bills 1.5 here. I know the Bucks still have to win to have a chance to move on, but their situation's changed a little bit and everything. I know you've released that. Nothing changes though with last night's Rams loss.
I released that yesterday morning, well before the game.
Mm-hmm.
And to my knowledge, there's not a sports book that'll allow me to contact them and change my plays after any of the games that I picked have gone. Fortunately, none of the games I picked have gone. Has the situation for some of the teams changed because of last night? Perhaps. But really, what I tried to pick were games that I felt had integrity, and one is a partial cover. We understand that the Bills are locked in at 11 wins. If they beat the Jets, they're going to go to 12 and beat my season total.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I used the Bills as the last leg on a 225 game so that I can play into that and minimize loss if, in fact, they bomb the Jets. So I'll be able to take a little of the sting out of a 2-unit Bills wager by having 1 unit on the Bills plus 1.5. But we're going to have to earn the first 2 legs. First leg being Tampa plus 7.5 in their game against Carolina. And even though some of the dynamics have changed there, what hasn't changed is that the winner of this game really holds position.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
I'm not really worried about that. And I really like the home team plus 7.5, despite the fact that the Bucks haven't won a game in almost 2 or 3 months. And then Minnesota plus the 3.5 against Green Bay. I'm anticipating Green Bay, because they're locked into the 7 and can't improve themselves. I got to think that we're gonna see a lot of second stringers and guys playing hard. But Minnesota hasn't lost in 3, 4, 5 games. And not only that we did a Minnesota over 8.5 early, and they're right at 8. They win this game and they're 6, 7, 7.5 point favorites right now. Then we stand in really good position to try and win that bet as well. So week 18 on the blog, I say hasten slowly. So go slow. You don't have to make your yearly bankroll this week. There's just a few games of integrity to bet. I only prepped 5 games via DVOA. One of them, Arizona and the Rams, only because I know we wanted to talk about
Absolutely. Local team.
So Lou, do you think that my preseason bet of Cardinals over 6.5, do you think I still have a chance?
Where are they? 5?
No, 3.
3.
3. 3.
Yeah,
they haven't won on a Sunday. They haven't won on a Sunday since like September 15th or something like that. Their only win after September 15th or whatever that date is was the Cowboys on Monday Night Football about half.
6.5. I felt so good about that in August, Lou.
Yeah, so you weren't the only one, Dale. I will say this. So
I'm in the Falcons.
It's hard I've always really been challenged trying to figure out what quarterbacks will and what quarterbacks won't. And I don't give myself too much stress or grief over that, because these teams can't do it either. Look at what the Cardinals did. They picked the wrong quarterback at the beginning of the year. I think Brissett's the more capable leader, the more solid quarterback, and yet they went with Murray and money. And so what changes there? Murray could be somewhere else. We'll learn a lot about these teams in the offseason, but I think it might be difficult. The Cardinals they're just rolling in mud, man. Do they do something with the coach? You guys may know more than me, but it was surely a year where
we're trying, Lou. We're trying to get him fired.
Hey, Lou. The other thing we've never talked about before we get into your games. I've never heard your opinion on Brock Purdy. What are your thoughts on Brock Purdy and the 49ers?
I think Shanahan's the sharpest coach in the league. I think what he's done this year is wildly understated. For that team to be 1 win away from home field throughout with all the injuries they've had is really amazing. You got Fred Warner, the linebacker, that's going to come back for the playoffs. Somebody better watch out for San Francisco, even though they can't stop a sneeze. That offense clicks. I think Purdy's the man. He's been understated, overlooked, and appreciated his whole career, except by Shanahan. And if Shanny likes him, I love him. And so, to answer your question, I think Brock Purdy is it. And I think any success that San Francisco has will hinge on Purdy and that offense getting healthy around him at the right time, because the defense is a little bit of a, weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I was watching that game the other night. It was fantastic, but it was like scoring affair on both of those teams. So, well, let's get into it. Cardinals first. That's probably the game you least want to talk about here, but obviously being the local team, we talk about them. Cardinals Rams. Now things changed for the Rams. They lost last night. They obviously want to win going into the playoffs here coming up, but we might see some resting from them coming up here this weekend. Cardinals, we don't know what's going on with the coaching staff. You talk to Jonathan Gannon, and he thinks his job's safe. He doesn't think changes need to happen. A lot of that stuff coming up. Rams losing last night against the Falcons kind of hurts their chances to stay alive for a 1 seed here coming up this weekend. Right now, Rams are 7.5-point favorites. My personal feeling on this is Cardinals, they went up against the Bengals in a team that gave up 30.5 points on gave up 30.5 on average points a game. And the Cardinals could only score 14 against them.
And one of them was a throwaway.
Yeah, one of them was at the end of the game. I don't care if the third stringers from the Rams or they call up all their practice squad kids. Sean McVay is going to have the Cardinals number this weekend. The question is 7.5 too high or too low for me, Lou? I think it's too low, but you tell me.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. How do you handicap the game?
That's what I'm getting
This
at.
was 14.5 a week ago, now 7.5. So the line tells you that the Rams are going to rest guys, and just look at McVay in the preseason. He never plays guys. They're locked into the 6.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they have any motivation to do anything outside to get some depth players, some reps, and get themselves ready to go? So, how do you monitor the motivation of one squad trying to protect themselves, yet go out there and give some guys some reps? And who's to say what's going on in Arizona? So, I mean, I can give you DVOA numbers. I can tell you Arizona's 30th in special teams, and the Rams are 26th.
Yeah.
26th in special teams for the Rams will be something that we'll talk about when the playoffs start.
They just fired their special
the Rams,
teams coach.
Number 1 offense and number 3 defense totally smokes the 25th ranked offense for Arizona and the 20th ranked defense for Arizona. 12 turnovers on the plus side for the Rams, dead even for Arizona. I don't know how. I've talked in circles long enough. I don't know how to bet it or what to advise.
It's a stay away game.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. Yeah.
It's a run away game.
That's why we brought it up first.
Yeah.
I didn't know the line moved. I didn't know the line moved a full 7 points, in this last week. That's an amazing movement. Like you said, that signals
gone from 51.5 to 46 on the total.
Yeah.
So, what does that tell you? It tells me that if I bet that game, I'm really contrary to everything I've preached all 2-3 years I've been with you guys. You were shooting with a rifle. We're looking for advantage. I have no idea where the advantage is.
Right.
Yeah. And just because you brought up the Eagles earlier, this I'm assuming this isn't a game you want to talk about. Commanders Eagles. It's only funny because we were talking about the eye poke with Aspinall, and if you saw that game last week where Jalen Carter, hit the guy in the eye, the lineman in the eye, and did all that damage to him and everything. Robert chimes in and says, "Didn't Jalen Carter train at that same gym in France?" I just thought that was a funny line by Robert.
That is
there,
very
that
funny. Good one, Robert. And I think he did. We won't cite Ferdinand Lopez for that one. We'll have to cite his head coach. But hey, any way to get advantage. And I got to tell you something, and Dale, I'm sure you can substantiate this. Trying to poke another guy in the eye, you're going to just dislocate fingers and break fingers. That's stupid. Heads move. the helmet twists. You sticking your fingers out there, and some guys, you might get bit. I know there were a lot of ways to insult and irritate other players other than getting your fingers in their face mask.
Yes. I mean, again, there's an occasional accidental, somehow your finger got into a face mask, but you didn't want it in there. You did not want your fingers in a face mask because you're right. I mean, that's very easily, you snap your face mask. Yeah.
Well, the thing that amazes me is like I saw the offensive lineman. I'm forgetting his name right now. But that dude's a big dude. It's like I don't know if you want to piss that guy off. As an offensive lineman. He's like 6'8". He's like huge, and compared to Jalen Carter, and it was just like, all right, well, if you want to make that guy
strong,
angry,
young, athletic, and you saw what that eye poke did to him.
Yes.
It reduced him to a hurt player. Hey, the eyes are nothing to mess with.
So I just like that comment from Robert. But hey, Lou, I tell you what, let's do this. You tell us where you want to go today, because like you said, things have changed. Buccaneers still need a win to have a chance to win that division. But if they win, they could still lose the division based off of the Falcons-Saints game coming up here and everything. So I'm going to let you kind of guide us where you want to talk about this weekend and what you're looking at. Because like you said, there's just a lot of unknowns going into this weekend. Ravens-Steelers is a battle. Of course, that's still there. The NFC West, number 1 seeds on the line. Saturday night as well from that. So I imagine those are two and everything. Then you got, the Patriots. My question on the Patriots for you, let me ask you this first. They've only played one team that has a record above 500 that they've beat with their 13 wins. Is this a concern for the Patriots going into the playoffs? They haven't played a tough schedule this year.
They played everyone the NFL put in front of them. They earned their position. And in their locker room, they've done everything they needed to do to earn their position. All the noise outside want to make criticism for the Patriots because they haven't beat anyone. Those are people, to me, that want to make excuses and are listening to others and just repeating what they're hearing. I like Vrabel. I like that quarterback. I like the offense. I like where they are. I like that they got home field games, and I don't know how you discount New England unless or until they face Josh Allen or have to go on the road to Denver.
Perfect. Just that's a lot of noise around that schedule there, going into this weekend. So in the playoffs,
yeah, and that's great because it's going to help enhance New England's price for any that might be looking there. I'm not. We have. We recommended Denver in October, November, 14-1. We also got a future on the AFC for the Chargers. So Denver and the Chargers are two teams that I'm pretty interested in, and so we get back to the games that I want to cover. Yes. And so I'll start with Saturday, and then we'll go to me. It's the important games that are played and in order. So Saturday, 2:30. Carolina, Tampa. And listen, this is a playoff game. It doesn't matter that none of them can control what happens with New Orleans and whoever the hell New Orleans is playing. Is it
Atlanta Falcons?
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta. Okay, yeah. And so neither of those guys can dictate that. So Carolina, we know, is going to win because if they win, it doesn't matter what happens in New Orleans. Carolina's in. Mm-hmm. If Tampa wins, then they got to watch and play fan ball, and Carolina can back in. But to me, I prefer to think that this is a playoff game. I like the fact that it's standalone Saturday, so we can watch it. 3 and 43.5 were the openers for that game. And now if I look, I see a rogue 2.5.
Yeah, FanDuel's
actually,
3.
Your FanDuel's got 3, but DraftKings has 2.5, total 44.5. And in that total, so it's ticked up just a half. I look for points in the game. I think that Tampa's defense has eroded a little bit with the lack of continuity on their offense. And isn't that interesting that the Tampa offense has bogged down as one by one, Godwin, Bucky, Irving, all these fabulous offensive players have come back to them. And while those stars are coming back, they're spinning their wheels in oil offensively. That, I think, is reflective of the fact that they haven't got continuity, haven't been playing together the whole season. And so there's surely concerns with Tampa. And that's why I took them from 2.5 at the time and rolled them at home plus 7.5 in that teaser. I love the fact that I'm getting the 3, the 4, the 6, and the 7 in that teaser. And I look for a relatively competitive game, but a fun one to watch. I see that one as 31-29.
Really? Okay.
31-27, 30-25, something that feels like that.
Yeah, that actually is fine because I'm actually I was leaning the other way that this is going to be a low scoring kind of a game unless the Panthers go off. But you are correct. Last time they matched up, 23-20 ball game is what it ended up being with the Panthers' victory earlier this year. Just a
Hey, before
few
you
weeks
go,
ago.
before we go any further, is there one team this year that has shocked you, Lou, in a good way? Is it New England? You said you had Denver on that. What about Carolina? What about some of these teams that came out of the ashes?
Yeah, a great question. Yes, Carolina has shocked me. I surely didn't see that coming. I didn't see the ineptitude of Cincinnati, to be honest with you. I should have with the coach, but you got Burrow and everybody else back there. You'd think that they were going to be a scoring machine. Burrow goes down. That's injury related. Maybe a little surprised the Raiders didn't do a little bit better than they did. And if anything that I'm shocked by, I'll just say, I can't tell you how much I respect what Shanahan's done in San Francisco with the litany of injuries they've gone through. They're totally overlooked. They are playing for the number 1 seed. They've got great experience, a great offense, great coaching. Somebody better watch out for San Francisco. I'm telling you, months ago, weeks ago, screwing around. I think both Chicago and San Fran were 30-1 to win it all, and I put peanuts on each of them just because I've been so critical of Chicago. I couldn't let them win it without me collecting a little. And the San Francisco one, I think, was a salty position, and I can look their odds up now to win it all, and I would tell you that I think that they're going to be way shorter than 30-1.
Yeah.
I got to think they're probably 10. Here, I'll look at futures right now.
They got to be second best odds behind Seattle at this point. One A and 1B, I should say, between Seattle and 49ers going into the playoffs, I would imagine. So.
Oh, I think you're imagining wrong. But let me see if I can find.
Well, while you're looking at, you look at San Francisco. They're missing their left tackle and one of the best tight ends in the league this past weekend. And they still put up 42 points. That's nuts.
Yeah, it's an offense that's rolling, and the tight end's going to be back. The tackle, I don't know, but Fred Warner will really help that defense emotionally when they come back. Okay, so to win the Super Bowl, 49ers are 850. That's a far cry now from 30-1. You got Seahawks at almost 5-1 plus 475, Rams plus 550, Denver plus 700, San Fran plus 850. And what I can't find right now is a line. Oh, here it is. Winning conference. NFC minus 130, AFC plus 110. That equates to probably a NFC minus 2.5. I would tell you right now, NFC minus 130 to win the Super Bowl is just an absolute laydown. I think the Super Bowl winner this year comes from the NFC.
And you said it's minus 130 right now is what you're seeing?
On DraftKings right now, if you go to futures, go to winning conference, and you got NFC minus 130, AFC plus 110.
Ooh, could be another Denver loss in a Super Bowl, Dale.
Well, they won 2 in the late 90s.
They did.
Yeah.
But just harkens back to losing more than they are there as well. Speaking of that game, Seattle's 49er, that's a Saturday night game at 6 p.m. Talk to us about this one, Lou. Two teams, number one seed on the line here. My big thing on this is, does Sam Darnold do better than he did last year? Remember, he was in this position last year with the Vikings and went into, they went to Detroit, but they lost that game as well off of some turnovers by Sam Darnold. Did he learn something last year? Is he able to get it done this year and get that number one seed?
That dialogue, that position, that mind frame right there. I'm so tickled that you led me by the snout right into it, because I comprehensively disagree with it. Dale, pipe in when you want. But this guy Darnold is an elite quarterback talent for several reasons. He has shown himself to come up short in the big games, but each big game, he's getting closer and closer to his goal. Since that kid was in diapers and in little league huddles, he's wanted to win a Super Bowl, and it hasn't changed. The fact that he's been set back doesn't mean he's going to curl up and run or shy away from this opportunity. Rather, he's going to try and kick the door in with a team that, oh, by the way, has the 11th ranked offense in pro football, 5th passing, and that's Darnold, 5th passing.
Right.
And you got the number 1 ranked defense. They're playing San Francisco that has the number 2 ranked offense. So that's going to be really championship material, watching San Francisco try and navigate that great Seattle defense. But that Seattle offense, 5th ranked pass against the 26th ranked San Francisco defense. San Francisco is going to have to come up with some gimmicks. They're going to have to get a lead early. They're going to have to try and take advantage of a turnover to get an early lead to put pressure on Seattle, and therefore make Darnold maybe a little more predictable. I think this is a game that Seattle looks really good in. They show that they're prepared to play. They're going to go out there and get their job done, I believe, and then next week get themselves a bye by earning it.
Hey, Sam Darnold, by the way, over the last 2 seasons, I think he's 27-6. 27
in the NFL.
Yeah, in the NFL.
I mean,
Steve,
come on.
Steve, you go ahead and bury him.
And everybody wants to say what a choker he is and everything. Okay, go
Stats
ahead.
are there, fellas.
Bet
Stats are there.
That way. It's only going to create more opportunity the other way. I believe in guys like that. I mean, remember when Peyton Manning hadn't won one forever? They were saying the same kind. I'm not
eventually get over the hump. Yeah.
On Peyton Manning level, no. But these are the kinds of soliloquies or the kinds of positions that I love to try and go oppo on.
It's -1.5 Seattle's favorites right now. Over-unders 49.5 in this game. I think this might be a surprising low-scoring game coming up here this weekend. Nerves maybe a little bit, like you said, a little defensive battle unless Seattle can expose that not very good Niners defense by your numbers there. But I could see this being kind of a low-scoring affair with two division teams battling it out for the number 1 seed. Coming into that on that over under 49.5. Has that line changed at all this week?
Yeah, San Fran can't afford a low scoring game. If it's low scoring, I think it's all Seattle. I didn't have a total I have a total opener, but it was funny because this week they didn't do look aheads. They're smart. They knew what I've been preaching. They've known long ago. But that opener in that San Francisco game, give me a second and I'll find her here if I can find the game for us. Here we go. That opening total was 49.5, and that's right where she sits now. If anything, I do tend to agree with the under because I tend to think that Seattle it can get a lead and put pressure on San Francisco and make them predictable and make them play into the Seattle defense.
That's how I'm leaning that game's going to go as well. So, okay, perfect. So we're on the same page from that perspective. What's the next game you got on Sunday here? Now you have these battles. Did you look at the big game here? I mean, if if Tampa Bay wins Saints Falcons games, does it matter? Let me ask you this: Does it matter if the Buccaneers or Panthers get into the playoffs? I mean, I don't see either one of them being a big threat here. But did you look at that Saints Falcons game at all? Now that it's changed for that because it could go into it. If not, skip it. What do you got next?
No, I didn't, but I'll comment on it. First of all, Atlanta's off this huge emotional game where they had to go to LA and win. Now they host a New Orleans team whose quarterback is in position for Rookie of the Year. I mean, that kid's I can't even remember his name, but he's playing better than
Local
most.
talent, Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, you
Chuck, yeah.
grew up here.
So,
Yeah.
hey, and listen, I think New Orleans, dog meat as they've been, they've seen some success in these last handful of weeks. And I don't think that's a team that's quitting. And we've seen some inconsistency with Atlanta. I look at that number was Atlanta 2.5 and 43. And now we find that game
I have it at 3 on
And-
FanDuel and 42 and a
3
half.
and 43 and a
Oh,
half.
43
So
and a half.
Atlanta has ticked up a little. I love that. I would even wait and see if the public believes in Atlanta enough to think they're going to beat New Orleans, because in a division game that's going to be low scoring, all defense between these two, not only do I lean to the under, I'd love to get New Orleans in 3.5.
And these two teams have not quit. They're not going to take Sunday off. They're going to play hard. They played hard all season. They played hard last week. So these aren't two teams eliminated that are going to mail it in and have the U-Haul sitting outside. They're coming into this game to
I'll
win.
tell
it.
you that with confidence after the game. I think Atlanta could put up a stinker.
No, really? Okay, really? Even after the last couple of weeks? Okay.
Yeah, well, coming off that big, huge win,
Oh, yeah.
and now
Monday night.
they're the other school of thought is they have momentum. They believe they're playing for their coach's job.
Yeah,
That goes
they
for
are.
both sides. But you give me two teams that have played division ball for decades, and one team's on the road getting 3.5. It's hard for me not to take that.
Okay, perfect. So watch
Well, Atlanta also has a guy, I forget his name, Bijan
Robinson,
Bijan Robinson.
another Arizona talent coming out as well from them. Yeah, nice 93-yard touchdown last night on that. Lou, what's the next game that you got here for this weekend that you're eyeing going into the last week of the season?
Okay, so we talked about Carolina, Tampa, Seattle, San Fran. I think we got to talk a little bit. The big one's Baltimore, Pittsburgh,
Yes.
but that's Sunday
Sunday
night.
night.
So we'll save that. The other one is the Chargers and the Broncos.
Yeah.
But since that game has been announced and lines have been set, and that was 8 and 39 to Denver, and now that is 12.5 and 37. Well, why would that move like that? Because the Chargers can't really better their position.
They're resting Herbert. They've announced
They're resting Herbert. They're
Yeah.
resting guys. They're going to go out there and give it, the good old college try. Meanwhile, Denver is going to play for everything.
Number one seed
and
on the
try
line.
and get that bye. So hard game to handicap, I suppose. If anything, you might look at Denver, given all those points, because you'd think he'd want to get some momentum, get that offense rolling, throw a bunch of points on the board, and then give them a week off while everybody tussles during the wild card round.
So how does that work? If Denver wins, they have the number one seed, or does it have to do with New England too?
No, Denver's the number one. Denver here.
If they win, they get the number one seed, because I think they have the quote unquote tiebreakers over Patriots. That's what I was reading last night.
So the Patriots have a 23% chance of winning the number one. So if Denver were to lose to a bunch of Charger backups, and the Patriots find a way to win in their game against whoever it is they're playing, I mean that's how much I haven't looked at this. Guys.
Well, they're playing their division's pretty bad there as well. But Bills have the Jets,
Miami?
so they got the Miami. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, they're playing Miami. So who's to say? I think the Broncos are a good team. I think they've been somewhat overlooked all season long because of their quarterback. I do believe in the quarterback, especially the quarterback head coach relationship. And I think Denver's got a lot to play for to gain momentum. And so I think this is a good opportunity for Denver. Just hard to bet it when you're given that many points.
That's a big movement as well. Once they announce Herbert's out and all the other Chargers starters are out as well. So is there any other game, or should we just go right into what I think is going to be a stinker of a Sunday night football game? But you try to sell me on Ravens Steelers here, Lou.
A stinker.
Yeah,
I mean, if both of these
two
teams
teams
were
are
3-12 and
Yeah.
playing on Sunday night, I think I would watch it. There's division hatred here. You don't need anything really artificial to create a rivalry here. Look ahead. Now, Baltimore wins, they're in. Pittsburgh wins, they're in.
Yep.
So we got a playoff game, open 3-42. Now I've seen it tick up. I can see some 3.5s at Circa and FanDuel.
Yeah.
At a number of places, Baltimore giving. And, with what I've seen recently from Baltimore and what I've seen recently from Pittsburgh, to me, this is the kind of a game Tomlin wins. This is the game he gets his troops motivated for. And let me look at my DVOA. And it's really balanced. Baltimore 11 special team, Pittsburgh 16 special team. Baltimore -2 on the turnover ratio, Pittsburgh +11. There's the red light. I'm going to tell you right now, and this ain't sticking my neck out, the team that wins the turnover battle is going to win this game. You can say that about every NFL game. It's just hard to predict who's getting the turnovers because that ball's shaped funny. Baltimore, 12th ranked offense. Baltimore, 15th ranked defense. Pittsburgh, 16th ranked offense, 11th ranked defense. Guys, this is a 19-17, 27-25, 31-29. This is a 2-point football game. Take the point.
Do you think that Baltimore will remember that they have number 22 in the backfield like they did this past week?
Or are they going to be 2 weeks ago?
They're going to have to because they're not going to have number 8 in the backfield.
Okay.
Isn't that Lamar's number?
Yeah. But this past week, it's all like, oh, who's this running back we have back
Well,
here?
the week before they benched him in the fourth quarter and didn't use him. So to me that's the problem. And the problem with my game on this, and I'm skewered by this, I'll admit it, is I want John Harbaugh fired. They need a new coach in Ravensland. I felt that for a few years. I feel the same way about Steelers. I'm just not a Steelers fan, so I don't care what they do. So I do want the Steelers to win this. But I agree with you. Tomlin wins these games. Tomlin makes it to the playoffs. Tomlin loses in the first round of the playoffs over the last several years. And there's no reason to think that Tomlin's not going to draw something up this weekend with his coaching staff and do what we expect him to do all the time with that Ravens offense the way it is. So I do like the Steelers in this game, and the numbers. I'm actually surprised that it favors the Ravens.
Pittsburgh's defense against the run is now 11, and early in the season via DVOA, they're in the 25s and 26s. So that team has evolved, and it's evolved towards Tomlin's personality. He gets them ready to play tough, physical, December-style football. And again, at 3.5 in division hatred, and without Lamar, I think Pittsburgh's got an awful lot to play for.
Yeah, and I mean, you said when you were ringing up those scores, you got into the 30. I was like, whoa, settle down. This is going to be like a 12-10 ball game, 12-9 type of a ball game.
I wonder what the weather's going to be like in Pittsburgh.
Is there any weather this weekend?
We don't have terrible weather this week, which is really disappointing for me. The only game I found some weather on was a total, and I took it. I'm trying to think which game was. Let's see. Here's NFL weather, guys. So really, there is no wind anywhere all weekend. A little bit of chance of snow in New England, Philly chance of rain, 35, but it's the wind that I need, and I'm not getting any wind, and so that really doesn't do a lot for me. Pittsburgh's going to be 28 degrees, slight chance of snow with a 3-mile-an-hour wind. These two teams, they'll be out there in jock straps and T-shirts. That weather ain't going to affect them a lick.
Hey, by the way, do you want to give some kudos to your beloved Chicago Bears? You might be going back to a Super Bowl.
Well, if they do, I'm going to get paid. But I'm not a phony. I didn't see it coming. It's hugely turnover related. But you know what? when somebody says that to me, I show them a picture of the scoreboard. Hey, their record is what their record is. They've earned themselves this opportunity, and it should be interesting to see what happens in playoffs. I can't see them making it through.
They're winning games late, though, too. That's what's been impressive is, yeah, you can blame the turnovers, but they've won games late. They had a chance the other night to win that game late, and they didn't convert it. They've converted other times. I think that just sets you up for the playoffs. Those types of teams that can win those late games and not be worried being down late in the game are kind of scary come playoff time. The matchups are going to be what's interesting. But don't sleep on those Bears if they get favorable matchups coming up here. They'll win it late.
Yeah, for me, a Ram, a Seattle.
That's the problem. You got to play one of those teams, yes.
What teams with really top 5 defenses is a Denver. That's kind of where I think I'm going to gravitate. It's going to be more difficult for me to hang my hat in first, second, third round of playoffs on a San Francisco or on a team even like New England, where the defense hasn't quite been what the offense has been this year.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see on that side. Lou, anything else? Last show of 2025. You'll join us next week, of course, back on the regular time here with the holidays all gone. Anything you want to add before we end this show, or with you at least?
Here's a little future bet that has nothing to do with the NFL, but I'm going to give it out because I gave it out a few days ago on the VSIN channel. I love the bet. It's a future bet, and the first leg of the bet is Japan to win the World Baseball Classic. Now, that's an event starts in March. You can get this at DraftKings. Currently, Japan is 300 plus 300. They will be in the finals. So I'm going to use Japan as one leg of the parlay, and I'm going to go into the UFC. I'm going to go to the futures tab. I'm at DraftKings. UFC futures. Scroll down. Who will be the welterweight champion in the UFC 12/31/26, meaning December 31st, a year from now? Islam Makhachev is minus 200. So you take minus 200 and you put it in a parlay with that plus 300, you get yourself a smooth little 5-1. And I can't tell you how much I like that bet.
So you have to sit on that money, for a full year, but it might be worth it at the end, right?
It will be worth it at the end, and you'll know. I mean, you're going to know if you're alive, at the end of April with the World Baseball Classic.
Absolutely. Wow. So I get two little piqued interest there as well.
A lot of time on Uncle Lou's hands, that's for sure.
Uncle Lou's in the laboratory coming up with angles to share.
Lou, go enjoy your New Year's holiday. We'll see you next Thursday. Get that house all up and running here now that you're fully into it and move back into it and everything. And we'll see you next Thursday, of course, here on the main event.
Thursday, 9 in the studio.
Yes, sir.
Happy
back
New
to
Year.
normal. Yep. Absolutely.
Happy New Year, guys. Thanks for having me. I love being on the show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you next week. Have a great holiday and everything. And we'll be talking playoff football next time and see if the Wildcats beat SMU. We'll see how upset Dale gets on this one.
We're going to beat them like a drum.
Bruce, for everybody else, Bruce Cooper is coming up next to join us. We got a lot to talk about there, so come on back. It's the main event.